Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the Find Your Force virtual event. This is where we help you unleash your feminine energy so that you can launch your independent business and create the life with freedom and fun that you so desire. I'm your host, Joyce Van Der Lely, and today my guest is Lisa Marie Rosati. Lisa Marie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
So you are a business mentor and a lifestyle expert, goddess lifestyle expert. So can you explain to the women watching a little bit what it is that a goddess lifestyle expert does?
Well, it kind of boils down to what I consider to be the definition of a goddess. And the definition of a goddess, of course, is a woman that is on the green grass edges of becoming her most powerful and healthy self. So that means a woman who's on a journey to constantly be growing, body, mind, and spirit, taking chances, going for what they desire in life. This is what it means to me to be a goddess. It's an energy, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of holding yourself in the world, that you are divine by your very nature, and that anything you desire is truly within your grasp. Might be hard, might be not so easy to have, but it is doable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how did you come to do this work? What made you become a goddess?
Well, I think we're all born goddesses inside. It's an interesting thing. I think we're born in perfect love and perfect trust. All of us, born as this gorgeous little expression of the divine. And then, of course, life experiences and the way we view the world, and our limiting beliefs will start pouring in and all this stuff. Our experiences definitely mold who we become and I guess the space we hold in the world, like where we think we belong, if we believe in ourselves, if we don't. And I believe that for me, I was raised in a household that was very cold, as far as like not a lot of physical affection from parents, not even to each other, very non-demonstrative, and also very non-complimentary. And I know it was done, as this woman, I can sit here and say to you, I know it was done because that's what they knew, number one. And number two, I know that when I had a 95 and showed my mother my 95, and she said, if you would have studied a little harder, it'd be a 100 or a 98. She wasn't trying to make me feel never good enough, but that's kind of how it made me feel, never good enough. Like no matter how hard I tried, it was never good enough. So it got me as a young child into this cycle of just being a people pleaser. And, I still can sometimes fall into it a little bit with the people I love most, my children, my partner. My parents, I've grown up and I'm a 50-year-old woman. I'm not really so interested in them really being thrilled with every one of my choices. But, the people who really hold my heart, I do want them to be happy with me and that. So I could fall into it just a little bit. But how I ended up doing this is because I had to heal myself. I had to stop being codependent. I had to be confident within myself and learn how to do that. I wasn't given the tools at all growing up. I was given actually probably tools of destruction, because I wasn't taught properly how to manage all the feelings I was having. So that's how I ended up doing this work. I kind of always was floating around and going from career to career. The one thing I will tell you that I think is probably one of the best things I ever had innately in me is that I always followed my bliss. So if something interested me, I went in that direction. But then I'd lose interest and then I'd go in a different direction. So by the time I was 40 years old, I was basically the Goldilocks of careers. And, everything was just not quite what I was looking for. And I didn't realize at the time that God, the divine, had this amazing, vision for me, which was to birth this creation, the Goddess Lifestyle Plan. So that's what happened. I mean, I became, I'm professionally trained interior designer. I have certifications as a yoga instructor and an herbalist. And I have certifications up the yin yang, and I took gardening courses and this course and that course. Anything that lit me up, I followed it and I learned about it because I'm a student. I love learning what I love learning about. I wasn't a conventional student, kind of really crapped out in school a lot because I didn't care about geography or algebra. But what I love, and I want to suck in. So Then I birthed the Goddess Lifestyle Plan, and it all made sense. It all came together. But again, 40.
Yeah, yeah. Well, never too late, right? Never too late to start something new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we all born called goddesses, and then we just lose that part of us a little bit on the way. So what do you consider being feminine power? Is that the little nugget that is always still inside that you can tap into?
Yeah. And here's the thing about that. When you say you kind of forget, how I put it is, we're born these perfect little bundles of pure love and light, right? These divine bundles, and life happens, and we forget our magic. That's really what happens. We forget our magic. And what I mean by magic is our divine gifts, the things that were given to us by the divine, especially for us in the way we do them. And we lose touch with that. So speaking of the masculine and feminine, we are all created of masculine and feminine energy. And being that I've been, learning about metaphysics and everything else since as long as I can remember. Since I'm 16, I was attracted to the esoteric and the supernatural and stuff like that. What I learned is the masculine and feminine needs to exist in everything, And of late, I've noticed that the teachings have been stay in your feminine and stay in your feminine and stay in your feminine. That's wonderful. Yeah. However, we do not step into our most powerful and healthy versions of ourselves when we're always in our feminine.
No, you need both. You need
both. You need a balance of both, because the masculine energy is what is goal oriented and what is driven by what you want, and you want to win. You want to get in there and get it done, and it's what keeps us on task and what gets us to complete the things we're supposed to do in order to launch our programs or create these coaching programs or whatever we're doing in our businesses. And then, of course, the feminine is there. We have to make sure that's in good balance. We want the masculine and feminine in right balance, in like equal as possible balance. Because if you're cueing your masculine as a woman, we get something called burnout. And we end up like just burning ourselves out, because our core energy as women is feminine energy. It's core. So we have that anyways. So I find that most women, type A, women like me, and I will say a lot of times that I'm masculine aligned. I really am. And people look at me, they're like, you're so girly. Well, that's not really what it means. I am girly looking, but I'm like a pit bull with lipstick when I want something. And that's like, I get tenacious. I want it, and I'm going after it at all costs. And I could easily, because I love my work so much, I could easily burn out. There were times I worked myself way too late every night. I don't do that anymore. But the whole thing about masculine and feminine is how I like to visualize it, and it makes it very helpful, I think, is that I imagine it as a man and a woman in a dance.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
If you think about a man and a woman in a dance, if a woman is pushing too hard or the man is leading too hard, it looks very awkward. But however, when they come together in balance and one can flow with the other, it really is graceful. And that's always the goal. With me, I'm like, okay, where am I leading right now? Sometimes I'm just blowing stuff off. It's not that I'm in my feminine too much. I'm avoiding. There's other things going on. But then, sometimes I go, am I in my feminine right now? I'm just enjoying like the flow. And of course, with being in your feminine, it's all about receiving, asking for help, all these things we have difficulty with. And then I'll say, sometimes, am I pushing too hard? Am I in my masculine too much? Do I just need to let it go, let God take over, let the divine take over, and then trust it's going to happen in divine timing?
So because you're working with these energies, with the goddess lifestyle, with the everything about your work is focused on that. So you can recognize these things in yourself very easily. So what is it for women that don't necessarily see what's happening, but they feel hesitant from stepping into their feminine power, or they get stuck even creating in their feminine? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that's a very multi-layered answer, a response, because of my training is extensive into the metaphysical. There could be chakra blockages because the creativity center is the second chakra. There could be throat chakra issues where they cannot speak their truth. There's so many reasons. Fear of like, who am I? Who am I to say I'm an expert at this? You know, who am I to say I can help people? You know, there's a lot of things that go on, but mostly I think when women can start to notice, am I having a really hard time asking for help? Is my ego driving me here? And here's the thing, I don't think we ever get it licked. I think day to day, sometimes moment to moment, we're noticing. And I think part of my work is that I give my clients permission and my community permission to notice without judgment when they've maybe slipped back into an old pattern of ego being ego driven. I mean, I find myself ego driven sometimes. I'm like, oh, well, what's really at play here? Is it my whole, I have to be fabulous here? You know, and then I put my ego in check. It's like take a deep breath and say, hey, you know, but I catch myself. We all catch ourselves. We're on a journey. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're meant to have these things. So I would say the most helpful thing is to just start noticing. Am I resisting asking for help? Am I resisting admitting I don't know everything? Does that take me out of the game when I admit I don't know everything? Will that stop me from even trying? Another really helpful mindset shift that's very helpful with my private clients is a lot of times when we're mentoring and we're starting these coaching businesses or whatever transformational businesses, we somehow put the pressure on ourselves to be the guru.
Yeah.
And what I want to say is that I've decided I am not the guru. I am just holding the lantern. So if I'm a couple of steps ahead of my client, then I'm helping, I'm serving. I don't have to have it all figured out, and neither do you.
No, I don't think we'll ever will, actually, really.
We're always evolving. And listen, I think our empowerment and our evolution is like an onion, right? It's layers. You got something licked and you're like, holy crap, this is a whole new level of crap.
Yeah, oops, there's more.
There's more, you know, and that happened. Yeah.
So what is goddess lifestyle alchemy to you?
Well, you know, one of the things that I really pride myself on is that I'm really 50% woo and 50% strategy. Whether it's my Virgo-ness or whatever the hell it is, I definitely think I do magical and muggle very well, seamlessly, because I don't think that we really get the result we need if we lean too in the muggle world, too in the magical world. So I definitely sat down and I thought to myself, when my life was not what I wanted it to look like, I sat down and I created this system called Goddess Lifestyle Alchemy. And it's a way of rating, which is a very muggle, masculine aligned activity, a way of looking and determining which key area of my life was not where I wanted it to be. I've identified 12 key areas of a woman's life. And it's a very, very systematic way of going through all 12 key areas, really discerning where you don't feel as happy as you'd like, or where you feel there might be lack or improvement necessary. And then, of course, creating a strategy and an action plan to raise that number, vibration, whatever, in that area. So that's what it is. It's basically turning crap into gold, which is it's really, that's what it is. I mean, alchemy is a mystical process, right? Alchemy is the process that many philosophers and all of the geniuses of centuries ago spent most of their life trying to figure out how to turn lead into gold. So how the divine speaks to me is very symbolically. So when I think of that, you cannot scientifically turn lead into gold. It's not possible. But you can turn crap into something good. And that is the process of alchemy for me.
Yeah. And that is what you teach in the Goddess Lifestyle Sisterhood?
Oh yeah, we're always working on transforming whatever it is. See, the Goddess Lifestyle Sisterhood is a magical group, and we're a group of healers and transformational coaches, massage therapists, women who are attracted to the sisterhood are usually in the healing field of some sort, Reiki, crystals, essential oils, herbalists, and we're magic makers. You know, what I mean by that is that we kind of follow the moon cycles, or we do follow the moon cycles, and we manifest with the moon, we release with the moon. So in that sisterhood, it's a group effort. The vibration is very beautiful. I've seen women transform their lives within that group. And it's incredible to see a woman who's really down and out and not seeing a way through. And then by being, circling for new moon and full moon and being around that vibration, and of course, my e-coaching, she's transformed her lives. I've seen them go from literally being on welfare to owning businesses within a year.
And that is so great to see, right? And that is also why I put up this whole show, is that there will be more women that can make that happen for themselves. That they can find the way as well. Yeah, you can shine them a little light, and then they can find the way.
The light, hold the lantern, right? I think that's my job, is to hold the lantern and just serve. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. So tell me, you also have a new magical school, the School of Magical Living. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
I'm really excited about it. It's been a couple of years in the making because of timing. I was moving from New York to Southwest Florida, and also some, inertia. Like, I kind of had a hard time gearing up again into creating. But it came to me a couple of years ago that being that my entire universe is lit up by empowering women to step into their power, I wanted to create this online portal, a teaching almost university, following and using the 12 key areas of a woman's life, where she can go and get a resource to help her transform that area. Magical, muggle, all of it. And so I finally got my team together, and we're getting ready to launch the schoolofmagicalliving.com. It should be launching in mid-November. If anybody wants to know what's going on, they jump on my list, they'll get the grand opening. And the first course is going to be called Abundance Alchemy, because magically, November and May are the two magic months two money months in magic.
Okay,
November, I think the more powerful one. So November's a big prosperity, abundance month. Yeah. So I'm going to put out an abundance prosperity course.
That is amazing. Yeah. So all the information about Lisa's website, about her School of Magical Living, about everything will be found on this page. So don't you worry. Anything we talk about, you can find somewhere here on this page. So tell me something else. How do you think a woman can create a financial freedom and still be soulful and in touch with her feminine side?
Well, I love that question, because I think that a lot of healers and transformational coaches have the block. Our spiritual community has the block that making money is not spiritual. But I truly believe that's the opposite of that. I look at it in a way as it's my duty to make a tremendous amount of money so that I can start putting money where it matters to me for causes, and maybe even spearheading a cause that means something to me. Financial freedom, I think, is my duty, because I want choices and I want to create change. And let's face it, we don't trade goats anymore. We don't barter, chickens and goats. We don't live in that land anymore. Money is the bargaining power. And I believe every woman, it's their duty to step forward and learn how to create financial freedom for themselves. We are all born with our divine gifts, our skills, our talents. There's no reason why we cannot, simply put them out in the world and create financial freedom for ourselves. It's all the other stuff that gets in the way of that, because we're all born with our specialness and our gifts. So that's why I feel it's important, so that we can together as women create change on the planet, the change we want to see.
Yeah, and it's happening. I think you must feel it too. There's something happening. There's something in the air.
There is something in the air. Women are rising for sure. The feminine is rising. And it's not a man-hating thing, and it's not a masculine, energy-hating thing, because I love the masculine. But I feel like the masculine has held the reins for too long. And I do believe that a woman's touch in power, on this planet would be a very helpful thing.
So what would you say are the main things that you work with women that's just come to you when they first start out? What are the first steps?
Well, it depends. If they're coming to me for Goddess Lifestyle Alchemy, we start taking a look at the 12 key areas of their life, and they do the assessments, and then we start, and then we start off with a VIP day, and I kind of drill down deep, because it's like I said, we're born with divine love and trust. So something happens along the way. Experiences happens along the way. So we start to, and I say this in a way that I love it, because it's not rough. It's not a pleasant situation looking at our pain and struggle. However, I like to describe it as excavating, gently excavating. Why? And just looking into the pain a little bit, because that's one of my specialties, is really walking through the fire or towards the fire instead of away from the fire or the struggle. When I say fire, I mean the struggle. And I help my clients, I hold their hands, and we go together and we take a look at where did these limiting beliefs start? Where did the pain start? And how can we start to release that pain so that we can untether ourselves and really allow our most powerful and healthy self to shine? So that's what happens there. And then, of course, I have women that come to me to create what I call a lifestyle business. I have a business magic coaching program where I take women literally from conceiving a brand, using their gifts, skills, and talents, and getting it up online so that they can create the financial freedom and time freedom they desire.
So do you work mostly with women virtually, online, or even those VIP days that you just talked about, or do you also work in person?
I do both, and anybody who works privately with me is always invited to my home to stay with me for the VIP block of time. It's usually about the night before they arrive. They stay the day, then they leave the next day, and they get the red carpet treatment. And funny enough, I've had international clients come in, and then just recently I had a client in Florida who drove, and she stayed, and we had a really nice time. But it's a way for me. That's how I work best. For me as a mentor, I want to hug my clients. I want to sit in sacred space with them if possible. But I find the beauty of virtual now is I can feel very connected. Like I feel very connected with you. We can see each other. Technology is such a gift.
Amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. Yes, definitely. I agree there. Yeah. So, and the School of Magical Living, will that be online, or will that also have parts in real life for you?
I think it'll be program to program. Maybe there might be a live gathering for some of them, but it's going to be an online home study type of thing. There's also going to be some free courses and free classes, because again, for me, it's all about serving, and I want to make sure that I help as many women that are drawn to my work as possible in all different financial brackets. So I really try to give out some free stuff that'll be helpful, as well as paid programs.
Yeah. Oh, sounds really interesting and exciting. Yay!
Thank you. I'm excited.
So tell me, why do you think it is important for women to have a community, a group of like-minded sisters around them?
So important, and that's why I birthed the Goddess Lifestyle Sisterhood.
Why do you think that is so important? Because I mean, I tried. I know that I know why, but I'd like you to explain that for the women that are watching, because I've tried to walk the path of the lone wolf, as they say, for quite some time, and it's really difficult. And I started to realize that it was actually silly to do it that way. But so maybe you can explain what your thoughts are, why women thrive better in groups.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you said the lone wolf thing. I always prided myself on being a lone wolf, but what I had was a feminine wound. I had a feminine wound. I had a lot of stuff that happened while I was growing up where I was distrustful of women. And so I was a self-proclaimed lone wolf, but that was a wound. It wasn't really the truth. The truth was I longed for women that I could count on, women that wouldn't throw me under the bus, women that wouldn't, try to take something away from me, so that they can have it, like covet and stuff like that. I longed for that. And I realized a few years ago that that wound was actually stopping me from being my most powerful and healthy version of me. So instead of still saying I'm a lone wolf, I went into the fire and said, okay. And I love to do things for myself. I know jumping into the deep end of the pool is the way to go for me. So I was just like, I'm just going to create a woman's circle, and it's going to be no drama, no throwing each other under the bus. It's going to be a supportive, loving place, and we're all going to help each other. And that was my intention. And I got to tell you, that's exactly what I what I called in, because this is the most amazing group of women. They are so wise, collectively. The group is so wise that, you know, I don't know everything about everything magical. Like, I don't speak to dead people, but some of the sisters do. So sometimes a question they have, like, you know, a vision or a dream, I can't answer it. That's not one of my gifts. I don't speak to those who have crossed over, but women in the group do. So they're able to come forward and say, hey, I know what you're feeling. And the thing is, knowing you're not alone for women is how we're hardwired. We're hardwired. Men went out hunting, and the women stayed together in the group, in the clan. We are meant to be together, and women are meant to pass their knowledge down to each other, or to each other through generations. We were meant to be in the clan together. So when women say, I'm a lone wolf, it's like almost going against how we're hardwired. We feel very lonely. Then we try to make the people in our life understand us, and they don't. So we feel like we're like this weirdo.
I know.
And we're really not a weirdo. We're just not like them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, I want magic makers and healers and wise women and herbalists and all this. I want these women around me because those are my peeps, not my family. My family's not my peeps. They don't get me at all. You know? So I stopped banging my head against that wall. And I think that if you're resonating, anybody on this recording is resonating with what I'm saying, find your people in a group, whether it's the Goddess Lifestyle Sisterhood sounds juicy to you, or a different group. Find your people. They're out there, and stop trying to hide who you are to be okay with the people in your family or close circle.
That's where everything starts, really, isn't it? Be okay with who you are.
Oh yeah.
First. Because that's for a lot of women already quite a hurdle. You know, being okay with who you are and what you do and what you can do and just how you are.
Find your people. They exist. Because the thing is that we look to our inner circle of family and close friends, and we have different things we like or things we're interested in. And because we don't find our people out there, it's like we try to make them get us, and then they don't, and then we take it in. We're like, oh, there's something wrong with me because they don't get me. I'm the one not being gotten here. But what it means is that you're meant to expand your circles. And with the virtual world today, you can find your people, trust me, with a couple types on the computer.
So tell me, Lisa Marie, you do a lot with the moon cycles. They are important to you. Can you explain why?
Well, yeah, I certainly can. Well, women are cyclical. We're cyclical creatures. We menstruate on the moon, like the moon cycle. So it's about tapping into natural rhythms that are going on. I mean, the moon is very powerful. Also in magic, the moon women correspond to the moon, the emotional realm. So when you start tapping into the flow of the moon and, setting intentions at the new moon, going for what you want at full moon, and then during waning moon to dark moon, releasing what no longer serves on a monthly basis, you're constantly stepping into a more healed version of yourself. So it's a beautiful thing when you get into natural rhythms for a woman. And it's very, very important to me. I've transformed my life that way. And honestly, the women in my group who do it with me and circle with me, we're always working within the energies that exist. So not to fire hose, I don't want to confuse anybody, but with the moon is always in a zodiac sign. And that zodiac sign has its own energy. Like, for example, Virgo is all about putting things in order. Virgo likes, the archetype of Virgo likes order and things always laid out.
I know, my mom is one.
And I'm one. So when the moon or the sun is in Virgo and we are circling on that moon, we work on organizing our space, organizing our bills, organizing this. So every month has a theme. So every month we work on something within our lives. So we're never feeling like, shit, my life is crap right now, because we're always working on it.
And then it is so nice to have the sisterhood to support each other. If someone of the members would feel a little bit uneasy in a certain month, then the others can help, right?
That's right. And the group vibration, I mean, listen, personal vibrations vary, but when you belong into a group and the group has a vibration of abundance, of positivity, when you go in there and you could just say, hey, I'm having a really bad day or a bad week. And everybody comes around and hugs you up virtually. Some of them have made lifelong friends within that group. They speak, they get together, they go out together. I mean, when they live close, it's a fantastic, fantastic thing. And you find your people that way. Some of the women in my group say they've met their best friends within the group.
Yeah, how amazing.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's really wonderful.
Yeah. So you say you believe that women can have it all. Because that's another thing. Most people have this preconceived idea that you can never have it all. So why do you think we do?
Well, I know we do. We can. We can, because I have it all. Not at every minute of every day of my entire life. There's been times where I was like, shit, I don't have it all right now. But the thing is that what we can do is start shifting the way we look at things, doing the inner work, and then calling in what it is you want. So it is very, very possible to have a career that lights you up. I mean, I am not a college graduate, and yet I'm an international best-selling author and a very successful international coach. So, you can have it all. You don't need a degree. You don't need everything to be perfect in order to have it all. And here's the great thing about having it all. My having it all has shifted as I've grown older, and my life, my duties in life have shifted. When 10 years ago, when I started this business, having it all was being able to stay home with my kids and be there for them when they got home from school, cook dinner for them, sit and have dinner with them, and be able to serve and make money. That was having it all back then. And now it's about I don't live with my children anymore, so it's shifted. Now having it all is having time and financial freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. So you really have to determine what is having it all to you.
Yeah, that is really crucial. And that is something that perhaps a lot of people still need to ask themselves, to be clear, to get clarity really what it is.
Clarity at what you desire is very, very important. And some things seem like they're impossible, but that's not our job to decide. The divine decides the how. We just decide we want that. And then we start doing the inner work and then doing the action towards what it is we desire. And then the divine or the universe or God or goddess, whoever is your higher power, starts to rearrange stuff for you. And it's not going to be comfortable. Having it all means you're going to have to grow. And growing is not comfortable. Growing is not comfortable.
No, I mean, look at anything, a seed, if it's planted, it needs to actually break open and completely transform and get shrivel up and to be able something, to be something new.
It's true. It's not comfortable. And honestly, having it all is not for sissies. You got to work, and you have to look at yourself honestly, and you have to own your stuff, and you have to say, okay, this is not my strength. How can I strengthen that? And we're all born with some weaker muscles. And I believe those weaker muscles were given to us so that we can actually strengthen them in this lifetime. A lot of people run away from discomfort. I know I did for 40 years. I ran away from anything that felt uncomfortable. So therefore I didn't grow.
Yeah, it's in our nature to run away from things that are uncomfortable. It's protection. Of course,
nothing. If it doesn't feel good, we're wired as humans. If it doesn't feel good, I don't want it. But I actually have learned that if I feel uncomfortable or scared, I'm actually growing, and that's a good thing. I actually crave that now.
So if you could say any wise words to the ladies that are watching, that are thinking they might, but they're not sure if they should, if they could, if they would, if they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
I would say that there's never any mistakes. You can't make a wrong decision. If you decide to go for it and you decide it's not for you, that's okay. Nothing is that permanent that you can't recover from. There is no mistakes. There's feedback, there's life lessons, there's discernment. when you take a chance on something and say yes to something, and then you decide it's not for me, or I thought I would like it, but I don't, that is actually honing in and getting you to a point where you can actually say, well, I know myself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't try, you'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't try, you'll stay stagnant. And the one thing I know we'll all look back on when we're ready to cross over to the spirit realm is, damn, I should have went for that. But you can't get back time. So now is the time. And looking at it in a way like, hey, I know for me, I give myself permission to change my mind at any moment. Sometimes I change my mind 3 times in an hour. Whatever. Get over it, people.
Yeah.
It's my prerogative. I thought I would like it. I tried it. I don't like it. I don't want it. But try it. Try it and do it and go for it. Because something within you is calling you to be that woman. Don't ignore that. That's actually the divine. The fear is the ego. The divine says, I want to try that. I think that's for me. And then the ego goes, that's not for you. But that's got to discern the difference. God only speaks to you with those big, expansive, like, oh my gosh, can I really do that? Can I really have that?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Then the ego comes in. But we got to just go, oh, go away.
Yeah. So, anything else that you want to add, Lisa Marie? Anything that I have forgotten, perhaps, that you wanted to add?
I think we talked about everything. I mean, for me, women, my free gift is the New Moon Manifestation Record. So please claim that gift and at least start calling in or discerning what it is you want to call in every month at the new moon. And once you're on my list and you're in my world, you'll get an invite to a new moon circle with me, complimentary, free of charge. And you can start to get into that whole, hey, what do I want? Because that's honestly where it all begins, is asking that really, really important question. What do I want?
Yeah. What you really want. Just really get clear. That is so true. Yeah. So Lisa Marie, what do you do on a daily basis to keep yourself centered, nourished, the goddess that you are?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I start every morning with an opening of the day ritual. And when I say ritual, it's no big deal because this ritual could sound very like, oh my gosh, that's going to take a lot of time. It basically is, I walk in and I come to my altar behind me. I light incense.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I could get her. Now this, for example, that painting was painted by one of the women in my sisterhood for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She's so talented. And I commissioned her to paint that for me because Ganesh is the Hindu god remover of obstacles. So he's here in my office with me.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful.
And, thank you. And then, of course, I just light my incense over here. I'm going to try to not be all over. Here we go. How do I get this? There it is. And then I come over here to the Virgin Mary.
And you've got the beautiful crystals as well. Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. So,
wonderful.
And I light her up like a candle to the Virgin Mary, because that is the divine feminine archetype I work with steadily.
Yeah.
I work with different archetypal goddess energies depending on what I'm needing, but I'm always working with the Virgin Mary. I just resonate with her. She's about unconditional love, forgiveness, and something that has been passed down through the lineage in my family. My grandmother used to light a candle to her every day. My mother does it, and now I do it. And it basically takes me 3 minutes. I kind of just say a prayer, and the prayer to the Virgin Mary, I just ask her to show me, guide my thoughts, my words, and my actions to be of service today in any way you see fit for me. And so it is. And I get to work.
Beautiful. So as you see, everybody that's watching, we're always learning and nothing is always perfect, but we got to see Lisa Marie's altar, which is amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you for your lovely gift. So for the women that are watching, there's a button beneath this video that you can just click and it will take you to the New Moon Manifestation Record that you can go and get for yourself. And at the same time, you can check out everything that Lisa Marie is doing on her website and about her new School of Magical Living as well. So thank you, Lisa Marie, for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's really such an honor to be able to meet your community and talk about my work. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, and have a lovely day, everybody, where you are in the world. Enjoy your evening, your day, your night. Have a good sleep wherever you are. And check your inbox tomorrow morning for more interviews on the Find Your Force series. So we'll see you there again. Bye. Thank you. Frozen, help. You've gone. Lisa Marie. Oh, she's gone. I'll just leave the recording on and hope she's coming back. Hello?
I unplugged her.
Oh, I wondered what it is. I just stayed stagnant, so we can just start with the altar. We just make it smooth. But I don't see you yet.
I unplugged my computer trying to show you the altar. Now I'm on my phone. I'm so sorry.
I can't see you yet, though.
You can't see me yet. Let me, okay. Can I get up here? Okay, start video. Okay, here we go. I'm so embarrassed. All of a sudden I was like turning it and the computer, I pulled the plug right out of the computer. That's what I did.
So there you go. That's all possible.
Okay, so we can, I figured you might be here still. So I said, let me pop on my phone. So where do you want me to pick up?
Thank you.
You know what I love so much? I love that it wasn't perfect and I screwed up and that we kept going. That's so awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and we'll just, it is important for women to see that, it is okay. Everything is okay.
Absolutely. Things happen all the time, honestly, in business, technology, all the time. And I got to tell you, one of the biggest blocks for a lot of my private clients, they're like, what if I can't figure out the technology? I'm like, okay, look what just happened to me now. I mean, that's how I roll. I'm like, all right, I did a blunder. What can I say?
Yeah.